The premise of this book is that Benny is bored. The situation obviously cannot be allowed to continue, so they bring in a Canadian boy named Rory to entertain him. I'm not joking. Rory is the neighbor of Mrs. McGregor's sister. That is all Grandfather knows about this kid before bringing him into the country.
Argo Fump Book Review, Argo Fump Book Review.
They put Rory in the guest room next to Benny's. Rory notes the closet is small. That's because he and Benny share a closet space. They decide to cut a hole in the closet wall so they can send each other secret messages. 5 minutes in, and he's already destroying the walls? This is why you need to screen your guests before letting them come, Grandfather. The guest room has a framed photograph of a girl in front of the house. Grandfather says she's Stephanie Shaw, who used to live here. Her family moved to France and died shortly afterwards. She left behind a fabulous coin collection, but no one ever found it. It turns out there's an empty space in between the two closet walls. Inside, they find a piece of cloth in Stephanie's diary. Stephanie's diary explains she hid her coin collection with a puzzle so difficult, no one can solve it. Oh yeah? The Boxcar Children are gonna take that challenge, Stephanie. Prepare to lose to the master detectives. Benny and Rory search the room, and they give up after 15 minutes. Uh-oh, looks like Stephanie's gonna win the challenge. The next day, Benny realizes they didn't check the top of the empty closet space. Inside is the first clue. It says to ask for the blue cloth at 5 Birds. This is an address, 5 Birds Lane. It's a fabric store run by an elderly woman named Mrs. Wren. Luckily for our heroes, Mrs. Wren has kept Stephanie's clue in perfect condition for the past 40 years. It's also lucky she didn't move or sell the business. The next clue is attic dollhouse. The Boxcar Children find a dollhouse in the attic, but this proves to be a dead end because clue 3 no longer exists. Oh no! Mrs. Wren calls with important information. She just remembered that Stephanie left her 2 clues. The second clue is a combination of strange sentences. Our heroes realize if you put together the first letter of every sentence, it spells out the word clock. They go back to the attic, where they find a grandfather clock. Not a clock shaped like Grandfather, although I bet he has one of those. I mean an actual grandfather clock. The final clue is taped inside. It says, look on the back of the house, but don't break the glass. Again, this seems like a dead end. The back of the house was renovated decades ago. But inspiration strikes when the Boxcar Children talk to Mrs. Wren. Benny realizes back of the house doesn't refer to the actual house, but to the framed photograph of the house. He opens up the back of the frame. The coin collection is hidden between the photo and the cardboard backing. Hooray! They get the collection appraised by one of Grandfather's excitable friends, and Benny is no longer bored. The end. Post-book follow-up. This book was different. It's a full-blown mystery from start to finish. In essence, it's just the kids solving a 40-year-old scavenger hunt, but I would count this as a mystery. It is definitely exciting. So interesting, in fact, that my stepdaughter started making her own scavenger hunts after reading this book. We played a few of them. You know a book is good when your kids try to act it out. I have no complaints about this book. This is the only Boxcar Children book I remember reading as a kid, besides for the first 3. I remembered it because it's great. It is still great! The story unfolds well, the scavenger hunt clues are clever, and you can solve the mystery if you're good enough. The supporting cast could be a little better, true, but I like this book so much, I'm going to give it a perfect score. I give Boxcar Children number 17, Mystery Behind the Wall, a 10 out of 10.